The massive alien ship appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning, its crystalline structure gleaming like a diamond against Earth's blue sky. Military bases worldwide went into high alert, but the vessel made no aggressive moves. It simply hung there, 20 miles above New York City, sparkling in the sunlight. Captain James Miller stood in the United Nations Emergency Chamber, his decorated uniform feeling unusually tight around his neck. As Earth's leading military commander, he'd prepared for first contact scenarios for years. None of his preparations had included aliens that looked like walking crystals. The Astran ambassador towered 12 feet tall, its transparent body refracting light into rainbow patterns across the chamber walls. "We come in peace," it said, voice resonating like wind chimes. "We are the Astrans, representatives of the Galactic Council. We have been watching your species with great interest." Miller didn't like the way the alien emphasized great interest. He liked the next part even less. "Our scans show that humans are." The ambassador paused, crystal fragments shifting in what might have been discomfort. "Physically fragile compared to most spacefaring races. Your bones break easily. Your skin tears. Your muscles are remarkably weak compared to galactic standards." Murmurs of protest filled the chamber. Miller kept his face neutral, but his hand tightened on his chair's armrest. "Therefore," the ambassador continued, "the Galactic Council has classified humanity as a Class 3 protected species. We will provide security and guidance as you develop. For your own safety, of course." "And if we decline this protection?" Miller asked, standing up. At 6 feet tall, he still had to crane his neck to look at the Astran's face-like structure. The ambassador's crystalline form sparkled. "The galaxy is dangerous, Captain Miller. There are threats you cannot imagine. Without our protection, humanity would be vulnerable. We have seen many young species destroyed by their own stubbornness." The threat wasn't subtle. Over the next week, more Astran ships arrived. They established a base on the moon, claiming it was to better protect Earth. Their ships patrolled the solar system, allegedly keeping pirates and hostile aliens away. But Miller noticed they seemed just as focused on keeping humans in as keeping others out. "They're lying to us," Miller said during an emergency meeting with world leaders. "Their scans are wrong, or they're deliberately misleading us. Humans aren't that weak." "But we've seen their technology," the French president argued. "Their ships, their weapons. We're centuries behind them." "Technology isn't everything," Miller countered. "Something's off. They're too interested in us. Why waste resources protecting a supposedly weak species?" That night, Miller received a classified report. Astran ships had been spotted near hospitals in major cities worldwide. There were rumors of people disappearing, though nothing could be proven. The aliens claimed they were conducting standard biological surveys to better understand human medical needs. Miller didn't believe them. He started gathering a team he could trust, beginning with Dr. Emma Woods, Earth's leading expert in human biology. If the Astrans were hiding something, they would find out what. As he stared out his office window at the crystalline ship hovering above the city, Miller remembered something his grandfather used to say. "True strength isn't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep going." The Astrans had called humans physically weak. Maybe they were right about the physical part, but Miller had fought in enough wars to know that physical strength wasn't everything. Humans had something else. Something that had helped them survive ice ages, plagues, and their own destructive nature. They had resilience. Looking at the alien ship, Miller smiled. The Astrans would learn soon enough that they had made a serious mistake in underestimating humanity. They thought humans were weak. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Dr. Emma Woods hadn't slept in 3 days. Her laboratory at the National Research Center was littered with coffee cups and scattered papers. On her computer screen, 2 sets of cellular images played side by side. One showed human cells rapidly repairing themselves. The other showed crystal-like Astran cells, barely changing at all. "This can't be right," she muttered, running the test for the 10th time. but the results stayed the same. Human cells healed at 4 times the speed of Astran cells, not just a little faster, dramatically faster. A knock on her lab door made her jump. Captain Miller walked in, looking as tired as she felt. "Tell me you found something," he said. 20 more people disappeared last night." Emma pointed to her screen. "Look at this. The Astrans told us humans were weak, but they never mentioned healing rates. Our cells repair damage faster than any species I've compared them to." Miller leaned closer. "How much faster?" 400% faster than Astran cells. And that's just the average. Some humans show even higher rates. She pulled up another image. And there's more. They're crystalline bodies. They're degrading, breaking down at the molecular level. They're dying. Slowly, yes. Their entire species is falling apart. Emma rubbed her tired eyes. "And I think that's why they're really here." Before Miller could respond, Emma's computer beeped. A new message popped up, more missing person reports. But this time, there was a pattern. "Look at this," she said, pulling up the list. "Athletes, soldiers, people who recovered quickly from injuries. They're taking people with above-average healing abilities." Miller's face darkened. "They're not protecting us. They're harvesting us." A loud crash from the hallway made them both freeze. Through the lab's glass walls, they saw 3 tall crystalline figures moving towards them. Astran guards. "Delete everything," Miller whispered. "Now." Emma's fingers flew over the keyboard, erasing her findings. But she kept one copy, hidden in a special drive designed to look like a simple medical alert bracelet. She slipped it on just as the lab door opened. "Dr. Woods," the lead Astran's voice chimed like breaking glass. "The Council requests your presence for a scientific exchange." At midnight, Miller stepped between Emma and the aliens. That's unusual timing for a scientific meeting. The Astran's crystal body flickered with blue light. "The Council's schedule is not your concern, Captain. Dr. Woods, please come with us." Emma felt Miller press something into her hand, a small tracking device. "Of course," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Let me just get my notes." As she gathered her things, she saw Miller slowly reach for his phone. One message got out before the Astrans noticed. "Medical alert. All hospitals. Stop sharing patient recovery data." The Astrans led Emma away. Through the glass walls, she saw Miller already making calls, probably activating his emergency network. They had discovered the truth, but at what cost? In the Astran ship, Emma thought about all those missing people. Were they here somewhere? Were they still alive? The ship's crystal corridors seemed to go on forever, each one identical to the last. Finally, they stopped at a large door. It opened to reveal a room full of medical equipment. Some human, some alien. On the screens, she saw cellular repair rates being measured, tested, analyzed. "Welcome to Project Restoration, Dr. Woods," a tall Astran said, its voice deeper than the others. "Your work on human cellular regeneration is impressive. Now you'll help us understand why your species can do what ours cannot." Emma gripped her hidden drive tight. Whatever happened next, the truth about human regeneration had to get out. Because now she understood. The Astrans hadn't come to protect humanity. They had come to steal humanity's greatest strength. Private Robert Turner woke up in a glass tube filled with blue liquid. His first thought was that he should be dead. He remembered the training accident, the Astran ship that had shot down his fighter jet during a supposed military exercise. Now he knew it hadn't been an accident at all. Through the curved glass, he could see other tubes. Hundreds of them lined the massive underground chamber. Each one held a person floating in the same blue liquid. Some were soldiers like him. Others looked like civilians. All of them had one thing in common: thick scars that showed they had survived serious injuries before their capture. "Subject 274 is awake again," a wind chime voice said. An Astran scientist approached his tube, its crystal body glowing with pale blue light. Remarkable. This is the 5th time it has survived terminal damage. Turner wanted to shout that he wasn't an it, but the breathing mask covering his face made speech impossible. He could only watch as they prepared for another round of tests. In a nearby observation room, Dr. Emma Woods was forced to watch the experiments. 3 weeks had passed since the Astrans had brought her to this hidden facility in the Himalayas. They wanted her to help them understand why humans could heal so quickly. "Begin the procedure," the lead Astran scientist ordered. Emma turned away as they sent electrical currents through Turner's tube. She had seen this too many times now. They would push his body to its limits, watching how quickly he healed. Each time, his regeneration rate grew faster. Dr. Woods, the lead scientist, chimed. "Please observe. This subject's healing rate has increased by 200% since initial capture. How is this possible?" Emma knew why. Human cells didn't just heal. They adapted. Each injury made them stronger, more efficient at repairs. It was like muscle memory, but for healing itself. The more damage the Astrans did, the stronger Turner's regeneration became. But she wouldn't tell them that. "I'm not sure," she lied, pretending to study the data. Through her medical alert bracelet, she was secretly recording everything. Captain Miller needed to know what was happening here. Suddenly, alarms blared. Turner's vital signs were spiking. "Impossible," the Astran scientist said. "No species can survive this level of..." Turner's eyes snapped open. The scars on his body began healing faster than ever before, leaving fresh pink skin behind. The monitoring equipment exploded with readings. "Shut it down," the Astran ordered. "Increase the sedative." But it was too late. Turner's enhanced healing had adapted to the sedatives. His fist smashed against the glass tube. Cracks appeared, something that had never happened before. Security breach in Section 7. Crystal guards rushed into the room, carrying weapons that looked like shards of ice. "Contain the subject." Emma saw her chance. In the chaos, she slipped away from her guards. She had memorized the facility's layout during her 3 weeks here. While the Astrans focused on Turner, she ran toward the facility's communication center. Behind her, she heard more glass breaking. Through the facility's windows, she saw other test subjects waking up. Turner had somehow triggered something in them. Their shared human DNA was responding, healing rates accelerating across the facility. Emma reached the communication room and locked herself inside. She only needed 3 minutes to transmit her data to Miller. 3 minutes to show the world what the Astrans were really doing. Through the windows, she saw Turner fighting the crystal guards. Their weapons cut him, but his wounds healed almost instantly now. Each injury just made him stronger. The Astrans had made a terrible mistake. They had wanted to understand human regeneration. Instead, they had forced it to evolve, to become something new. As Emma transmitted her data, she smiled. The Astrans thought they were running the experiments. They didn't realize that they had just created their own worst nightmare, humans who could heal from almost anything. And now these humans wanted revenge. The underground facility had turned into chaos. Private Turner ran through crystal corridors, his bare feet leaving bloody footprints that healed with each new step. Behind him, other freed test subjects followed. Their bodies, like his, were healing faster than ever before. "This way," he shouted, remembering the facility layout from his many escape attempts. Each time they had caught him, but each time he had learned more. Now his enhanced memory, another unexpected side effect of the experiments, helped guide the others. Astran guards fired their crystal weapons. Sharp shards cut through the escaping humans, but the wounds closed almost instantly. The guards' glowing forms flickered with what looked like fear. "They're not stopping," one guard chimed in panic. "Their healing rate exceeds all known limits." In the communication center, Dr. Emma Woods barricaded the door while sending the last bits of data to Captain Miller. Her screen showed the facility's security feeds. Hundreds of test subjects were breaking free, their shared DNA somehow connecting them, making them stronger together. The door burst open. Turner stood there, his eyes glowing slightly from the experiments. "Dr. Woods," he said, "we need to get everyone out before they lock down the mountain." Emma grabbed her hidden drive. "There are over 3,000 people here. How can we?" An explosion rocked the facility. Through the security feeds, they saw military helicopters dropping from the clouds. Captain Miller had received her signal. "The cavalry's here," Turner grinned. His face had changed. All their faces had. They looked stronger, more alive. The Astron's experiments had awakened something deep in human DNA. "Their ships are coming," someone shouted. Through the mountain's crystal windows, they saw Astron vessels descending. Turner looked at the other test subjects. "They thought we were weak. Let's show them how wrong they were." The escaped humans moved like one force. When Astron guards blocked their path, they pushed through. Crystal weapons shattered against their healing skin. Even the strongest restraints couldn't hold them as their enhanced strength grew with each passing minute. Emma watched in amazement as Turner led the charge to the main gates. The Astrons had wanted to study human regeneration. Instead, they had supercharged it. Each person here had been chosen for their already strong healing abilities. Now those abilities had grown beyond anything natural. Military forces breached the facility from above. Captain Miller himself led the rescue, his teams working with the enhanced subjects to secure escape routes. "This way," Miller shouted, directing people to the helicopters. "We have medical teams standing by." But the escaped test subjects didn't need medical help. Their bodies had changed too much for that. Emma's scans showed their cellular regeneration rates had increased by over 1,000%. An Astran ship fired at the escaping helicopters. Turner and several others jumped in front of the blast, their bodies absorbing the impact. They fell, but stood back up seconds later, completely healed. "Impossible," the Astran commander's voice boomed across the facility. "No species can survive direct energy weapons." "You don't understand humans very well," Turner called back. "The more you hurt us, the stronger we become." Emma reached the helicopters with her vital data. As they lifted off, she saw Turner and the other enhanced humans providing cover for the escape. Their glowing eyes and rapidly healing bodies made them look almost superhuman. The Astran ships couldn't risk using their strongest weapons. They needed the humans alive for their research. This weakness gave the escapees the time they needed. By sunset, the facility lay empty. 3,000 enhanced humans had escaped into the world. The Astrons had lost their test subjects and gained something far worse, proof that humanity was more powerful than they had imagined. In the helicopter, Emma studied the data from her drive. The changes in the test subjects weren't temporary. They were evolving, growing stronger. And most importantly, their new abilities could spread to other humans through blood transfusions. The real war was about to begin. The Earth's first space battle began above Mars. Captain Miller stood on the bridge of humanity's newest ship, the Phoenix, watching as Astron vessels surrounded them. The ship was crewed by alien standards, built in just 3 months using reverse-engineered technology. But it had one special advantage: its crew. "All enhanced personnel, report status," Miller ordered through the ship's comm system. "Engine room ready," Turner replied. Like all the enhanced humans from the facility, he had volunteered for space duty. Their improved healing now included radiation resistance, making them perfect for deep space operations. The Astran flagship appeared, its crystal structure dwarfing the Phoenix. "Surrender your vessel," the alien commander's voice echoed through space. "Your primitive ship cannot withstand our weapons." Miller smiled. "Show them what primitive humans can do." The Phoenix moved first, faster than the Astrons expected. Dr. Wood's research had shown that enhanced humans could react 4 times quicker than normal. This meant they could pilot ships at speeds that would kill regular crews. The first Astran blast hit them dead center. Crystal energy tore through the ship's hull. "Direct hit," an officer shouted. But engineering crew reports they're healing the ship. Through the ship's cameras, Miller watched in amazement. The enhanced engineers pressed their hands against the damaged hull. Their healing energy spread through the metal, sealing breaks, repairing circuits. The ship itself was learning to heal, just like them. Impossible. The Astran commander's voice shook. No species has ever merged their biological abilities with technology. The Phoenix struck back. While the Astrans were distracted, enhanced gunners fired their weapons with perfect accuracy. Their improved minds could calculate trajectories instantly, making each shot count. Crystal ships exploded around them, but the Astrans still had numbers on their side. Dozens of ships closed in, weapons charging. All enhanced crew, Miller ordered, prepare for emergency protocols. This was the moment they had trained for. As enemy fire ripped through the Phoenix, enhanced crew members rushed to damaged sections. Their healing powers worked faster under pressure, repairing systems that should have been destroyed. The Astran commander sounded desperate now. Their ship, it won't die. Just like the test subjects. You studied human healing, Miller transmitted back. But you never understood it. We don't just heal. We grow stronger from every wound. The Phoenix's engines flared with new power. Enhanced engineers had learned to transfer their energy into the systems, making them more powerful than their design specs. The ship moved like a living thing, dodging crystal beams that should have destroyed it. Back on Earth, Dr. Woods watched the battle through long-range sensors. Her research had shown that enhanced humans could share their abilities through close contact. Now she saw they could share it with machines too. The battle reached its peak above Mars' red surface. The Phoenix, despite taking damage that would have vaporized any other ship, kept fighting. Its enhanced crew refused to fall. All ships, full attack. The Astran commander ordered in panic. Destroy that vessel at all costs. But something unexpected happened. As crystal beams struck the Phoenix, the ship's hull began to glow. The enhanced crew's healing energy had spread throughout the entire vessel. The Phoenix wasn't just surviving, it was adapting. Fire main cannon, Miller ordered. The Phoenix's main weapon, powered by the combined energy of 100 enhanced humans, fired a single shot. The beam cut through 3 Astran ships before hitting their flagship. The crystal vessel shattered like glass. The remaining Astran ships retreated, leaving their broken flagship behind. Humanity had won its first space battle. But more importantly, they had shown the galaxy something new. Humans weren't just tough, they were adaptable. Each battle would make them stronger. Each wound would teach them more. As the Phoenix limped back to Earth, its self-healing hull glowing softly, Miller sent a message to all human colonies. The resistance has begun. And this time, we're fighting back with powers the enemy gave us themselves. The Astrans had created their own worst nightmare, and the galaxy was about to learn just how powerful humanity could become. The news of humanity's victory spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Dr. Woods stood before the secret meeting of alien representatives, her data showing on massive screens behind her. Species from 100 worlds had gathered in this hidden asteroid base, all of them seeking freedom from Astran control. The key is in our DNA, she explained to the diverse crowd. Human regeneration can be shared. We can help your people heal like we do. In the front row, the Drachnid ambassador's scaled face showed amazement. His reptilian species had been slaves to the Astrans for centuries. You would share this power with us. That's why we called this meeting, Captain Miller said, stepping forward. Private Turner stood beside him, demonstrating his healing abilities by letting his hand regenerate from a deep cut. The Astrans didn't just hurt humans. They've hurt everyone. The gathered aliens watched as Turner's wound healed instantly. Many of them had seen the battle recordings from Mars, showing human ships that could heal themselves. Now they were being offered the same power. The procedure is safe, Dr. Woods continued. We've already successfully transferred our healing abilities to 50 different species. Once transferred, it adapts to your own biology. Suddenly, alarms blared. On the main screen, dozens of Astran ships appeared through jump points. "They found us," someone shouted. Panic spread through the crowd. But Miller smiled. "Good. Let them come." The asteroid's hidden doors opened. The Phoenix emerged, now joined by ships from Earth's growing fleet. But they weren't alone. Vessels from dozens of rebel worlds decloaked around them, all crewed by beings who had already received human healing abilities. "All ships, battle formation," Miller ordered. "Show them what united species can do." The space around the asteroid erupted in battle. Astran crystal ships fired their weapons, but this time their targets didn't fall. Ships crewed by enhanced beings of all species demonstrated their new powers. A Drachnid cruiser took a direct hit, but healed itself just like the Phoenix had. A Meridian transport, its insectoid crew glowing with shared human energy, rammed straight through an Astran destroyer and emerged intact. Impossible. The Astran command frequency buzzed with panic. The ability has spread. Dr. Woods watched from the asteroid base as her life's work changed the galaxy. The enhanced healing didn't just save lives. It united species who had been enemies for centuries, all of them joining together against their common oppressor. Turner led a mixed squad of enhanced beings on a spacewalk, their combined healing energy so strong it created a visible shield around them. They boarded Astran ships, their powers growing stronger as they fought together. The Astran fleet commander's voice shook. "Fall back. We cannot defeat them if they keep healing." But retreat wasn't an option. Enhanced ships from the Rebel Alliance had surrounded them. Species that the Astrans had called weak now demonstrated power beyond anything the crystal beings had imagined. "Your time of tyranny is over," Miller broadcast on all frequencies. "The beings you called weak have become strong. The ones you hurt have learned to heal. And now we're going to heal the galaxy of your influence." The battle ended in less than an hour. The might of the Astran fleet shattered against the united power of enhanced beings. As crystal ships broke apart in space, the revolution that would change the galaxy truly began. On the asteroid base, representatives from hundreds of worlds lined up for the treatment that would give their people healing abilities. Dr. Woods worked tirelessly, helping each species adapt the power to their own biology. "We're not just healing bodies," she told Miller as they watched the lines of hopeful aliens. "We're healing the galaxy itself." Miller nodded, looking out at the battlefield where ships were already recovering, healing themselves just like their crews did. The Astrans thought making us stronger was their biggest mistake. "No," Woods corrected him. "Their biggest mistake was thinking that we would keep that strength to ourselves." The revolution had begun. And this time, it wasn't just humanity rising up. It was the entire galaxy healing together. The Galactic Council's Crystal Palace on Alpha Centauri had stood for 10,000 years. Now it faced an army unlike anything in galactic history. Enhanced beings from 1,000 worlds surrounded it, their combined healing energy creating an aurora in space. Captain Miller stood on the Phoenix's bridge, now rebuilt with technology from 50 different species. Dr. Woods and Private Turner flanked him, watching as the final battle for freedom began. "Surrender your authority," Miller transmitted to the council chamber. "Your time of calling other species weak is over." The Astran Council leader's voice crackled back. "You don't understand. We needed your healing. Our species is dying. Everything we did was for survival." "Then you should have asked for help," Dr. Woods replied. "Instead, you chose to hurt and enslave others." The Crystal Palace's defenses activated. Weapon systems that had kept the Astrans in power for millennia powered up. But they faced something new. Beings who couldn't be permanently hurt, ships that healed themselves, and a unity of species that grew stronger with each challenge. "All ships, begin the approach," Miller ordered. "Remember, we're not here for revenge. We're here to heal the galaxy." The enhanced fleet moved as one. Drachnid warships flew beside human cruisers. Meridian carriers launched fighters piloted by dozens of different species. All of them shared the same gift: the power to heal, to adapt, to grow stronger. The palace's weapons fired. Crystal beams that could shatter planets struck the advancing fleet. But where they hit, ships healed instantly. The combined power of so many enhanced beings had grown beyond anything the Astrans had imagined when they first experimented on humans. Turner led the boarding party, a team of enhanced beings from 20 different worlds. They moved through the palace's corridors, their healing powers spreading through its crystal walls. The very structure of the palace began to change, responding to their energy. The crystal. An Astran guard chimed in fear. It's changing. Dr. Woods watched her sensors in amazement. The palace is made of the same crystal material as the Astrans. It's healing itself, just like our ships learned to do. But it's doing something more. The crystal walls pulsed with new life. The palace, built from the same living crystal as the Astrans themselves, was awakening. Centuries of damage began to heal. In the council chamber, the Astran leaders watched in shock as their own home turned against them. The crystal structure they had built their empire on responded to the healing energy that now filled the galaxy. "You see," Miller said as he entered the chamber with his united forces, "the power you tried to steal wasn't just about healing wounds. It was about healing everything. Bodies, ships, even your own dying world." The Astran leader's crystal form flickered weakly. "Our species is still dying. Will you let us perish after all we did to you?" Dr. Wood stepped forward, holding up a medical device. "No, because unlike you, we understand what true strength is. It's not about power over others. It's about helping everyone grow stronger together." She activated the device, sending healing energy through the crystal palace. The Astrans' bodies began to stabilize, their degrading forms strengthening for the first time in centuries. "A new galactic commonwealth will replace the council," Miller announced. "All species will have equal voice, and the power to heal will be shared freely with anyone who needs it." As the Astran leaders surrendered, the crystal palace transformed. Its dark, imposing structure became something new, a beacon of hope, its walls pulsing with the same healing energy that had changed the galaxy. Private Turner looked out at the celebrating beings from countless worlds. They thought humans were weak because we could be hurt easily. They never understood that our greatest strength came from learning to heal. Dr. Wood smiled. "And now the whole galaxy knows. True power isn't about how hard you can hit. It's about how well you can heal," Miller finished. "Both yourself and others." The galaxy entered a new age that day. Not one of power and fear, but of healing and growth. And it all began because some aliens made one simple mistake. They thought humans were weak. They were wrong.